Welcome to the 820 show. Seeking to be number one in your heart, but of course, 820 on the dial and the scorecard. Welcome to the open journal, the public ledger, the blockchain of resilience. This cannot be duplicated or corrupted. All transactions, all discussions on this thing called resilience, this is maintained in your open journal, in your public ledger, unlocked and accessible only to you and to those that you love. This podcast will change your life. Well, at least I can guarantee that it will change your perspective on this present moment. Let's get into it. Let's talk about gifts and not tradition. Gifts and not so much tradition. I want to get to the point today in discussion where you're considering not expecting anything or ever expecting anything. You do things just because. Actually, that because has a foundation. That because is called joy and love. Consider this as a new baseline. Gift and grace, intent and integrity, not as placeholders or markers, but should help you to assess the takers and the givers in your life. The takers versus the givers in your life. And also to review forward the resilience balance, kind of like the give and take ratio and measure. Now, in terms of giving and taking, or being a giver or a taker, we all have both tendencies in our daily journeys, in our daily challenges. But I submit to you a very solid line and demarcation line in terms of how you see yourself as a giver or a taker, and how you observe others related to you by family, relationships, or reference. I'm saying we should give with clear intent, and then take, if we need to, with grace. Give with grace. Take with clear intent. Observe and communicate that grace and intent. But take into consideration that control aspect too. Take control or give control. And then apply that to gifts also. Give a gift, reclaiming the fake one or the fake control you serve to let go of. So when you do that, you give a gift instead of trying to reclaiming control that you were going to let go of, but almost like that gift was given with the expectation of a placeholder or marker for control. Now, if you do that, that certifies, or however you do it. If you give the gift openly without anything as far as expectation, but if you give it with an expectation of, hey, I can make that call or call in that margin later because I gave a gift to that person, that's a part of control. So however you do it, it certifies and determines your tendency and core intent, or as my brother told me, your core competency as a taker or a giver. And I would say this, listen to the gift and beware of the grift. Big difference there. Listen to the gift when you get one and beware of the grift if it exists underneath that gift. And this is kind of like important if you go back in the annals of the 820 Enterprise, there was an episode called the LAOL measure, the lost art of listening. LAOL, the lost art of listening. So consider this statement today about givers and takers as a reprise of that LAOL message. So in that case, it wasn't a grift or a grip by a taker by nature. If you really listen to what's behind or preceding the gift, then you can assess, determine, feel that it wasn't a grift or a grip by a taker in the extension of that gift. Hopefully it wasn't just a broadcast by that person. It was a true observation and a true communication of them sharing something with you. It was more on the side of nurturing, on giving and taking. You see, when I mentioned earlier in this discussion about that control aspect, nurturing is the antithesis of control. One leads to communication, one does not. Nurturing the natural, the organic, the origins, nurturing the love and joy, what you cannot control ever. Control, however, focuses on the artificial, the surface, the topical, and not the essential. So I'll leave you with that perspective on this present moment. Control versus nurturing. Giving versus taking. Expecting versus, let's call it, accepting. The main issue today is not needing or feeling the necessity to control anything. And at the beginning of this discussion, where I told you the constant that can serve and offer to you as an offer, a proposition, to let that sit as your new baseline. The love and joy that cannot ever be controlled. And if you give that, which you should, which you can, every day, give it without ever expecting anything in return. Because it was given to you, it was given to me. This love and joy is a constant within each and every one of us. Just like the resilience for the context of that statement. We all have it inside of us. I'm only asking you to share it with everyone you meet on your journey today. Stay safe, stay present. Remember, no matter where you are in this world, it is always 820.